Hey everyone, I am Pion and welcome to Pion's Perspective with another Strife patch episode for the Strife patch 0.4.7. Let's get started. So this patch basically has two new pets and a bunch of balance changes. Let's take a look at the pets first. The first one is Plunder. He is basically good for pushing waves and turrets because of his active ability, which gives a buff to 5 allied brawlers. The patch notes say creeps for some reason. I don't know what creeps are as to. Can you explain to me what a creep is? But I guess I mean brawlers. And granting them bonus attack damage, attack speed, and health for 15 seconds. The Pillage is the trigger ability, and it gives you gold for attacking heroes and structures, so turrets or generators. And Resilience is the passive, which gives you magic armor. So this is a really weird mix of skills. I'm pretty sure there will be good uses for this, but I still did not really figure out for which hero this is a really good combination. Like Promote and Pillage are obviously decent for split pushers. Resilience is not though. I don't know, and Pillage might be good for AD carries in general because they attack heroes a lot and attack buildings a lot as well. So I don't know. People will figure it out, I guess. But it's nice to have more pets, so I appreciate it, even if I don't understand it yet. But I will at some point. The other pet is Tink. He's basically the counterpart to Blunder, thanks to his active ability, which is Enhanced Defenses, which gives a buff to an allied turret, which gives him attack damage and splash damage, which is obviously very good at destroying big brawler waves. His trigger ability is Brace for Impact, which gives him an CC reduction for 30 seconds when he gets stunned or slowed, or hexed, by the way. The patch notes don't mention this, but Hex triggers this as well. So this sounds very, very useful in the current stun lock meta. And the passive ability is Augmented Repairs, which gives bonus out of combat regeneration, which is really interesting. If you pick Tink, it might be very useful actually now in the early game to pick up health regeneration, because the out of combat regeneration is based on your max health and your health regeneration. So yeah, that might be interesting. We will see how these new heroes will impact the game. I'm pretty sure people find good uses for those. So then we get a bunch of new gear sets and dice, nice, and a bunch of balance changes. So first we get a Carter nerf, which makes sense. Carter is really strong right now, so nerfing him a bit is probably not the worst idea ever. Then we get a Moxie buff and a Moxie nerf, which is a bit weird. Buffing Moxie Astral Winds is probably good because this skill was not too useful, and Moxie has a lack of mobility, so giving him 3 seconds of movement speed buff instead of 2 sounds like a good idea. Increasing the cast time for the catastrophe sounds like a weird thing though to do, because this ultimate is really easy to dodge already, making it even easier. Yeah, I don't know why that is. That happens. It's probably just a bug fix, because they say this was to let the animation actually finish. So this is more a bug fix than a balance thing. But I don't know if it affects the skill, the hero too much. But it's a bit weird to say the least. Small Vex buff makes sense. He's not too strong right now. Then Blazer got a really weird change. Well, not too weird. Like, the idea was that, or the situation right now is that the overcharges, or people prioritize the overcharge over the Iron Cannon all the time, with good reason, because Iron Cannon just doesn't fit Blazer's playstyle as well as overcharge does. And so S2 decided, hey, let's buff the Iron Cannon a bit and nerf the overcharge, which makes sense. But the way they buff the Iron Cannon doesn't tackle the problem of the Iron Cannon. For example, making the Iron Cannon not breaking stealth when activating would be, for example, a good change for Iron Cannon. But just increasing the damage, decreasing the cooldown, and increasing the projectile radius, I'm not sure if this is... I think this is overall, this is a nerf, because Iron Cannon is still a bad skill for Blazer, and they nerfed the overcharge, so I don't know. It's a bit weird of a change, but I see what they wanted to do. We will see if it works. I have my doubts. I think we have to touch Blazer again. So now we come to a bunch of changes which actually affect the bottom lane quite a bit. First of all, Featherstone got changed around a bit, similar to Blazer. Crystal Shot deals a little less damage, but has reduced mana costs, which makes it more viable for early harassing and poking. A Splinter Shield got changed, the range got reduced, but the shield got buffed. So basically the idea is to use the Splinter Shield more in a defensive way, instead of using it for poke and harass. And using the Crystal Shot for that. So this sounds like a good idea, because the Splinter Shield was not, like, the idea was not to give the hero an offensive skill there. This was meant as a defensive skill, but people don't use it as one. So I like this change quite a bit. Explosive rounds got nerfed a bit because they were just too scary right now. It's ridiculous. Like Featherstone is probably, or was at least before this patch, probably the hero who gets the closest to being able to 1v5 the enemy team, and there's a things which should not be possible in Strife. So nerfing the hero who gets the closest to that is probably a good idea, and so I like this change quite a bit. We got a small ace buff, which is well, it's another small ace buff. I just get scared of ace in low level pub games. I really hope S2 keeps an eye on the statistics for their ace in the low level, for the win rates for the aces in the low level pub match. Try that again. Low skilled level pub matchmaking. But yeah, I don't know. It will make him a little bit more viable for competitive, which is probably not the worst idea ever. We saw some aces in the last few tournaments and league matches though, so yeah, I'm looking forward to see more ace. Rook got a nerf, grappling hook nerf, deliverance nerf, so his early game is basically weaker now than it was before, which will change the bottom lane up a bit. And the next change for the bottom lane is the Golden Protector nerf. The base armor got decreased, but the base health regen got increased, and the focus enchantment got changed. Basically, this means that the Golden Protector of focus, which most people were building when they were going to the bottom lane, now gives 42 instead of 50 armor, which is just a nerf for 8 armor, which is quite a bit. But it makes sense because Golden Protector was just too strong, and it should be more in line now. So, yeah, these are 3 things. Featherstone change, Rook nerf, Golden Protector nerf. These 3 things affect the bottom lane quite a bit, and will change around the meta there a bit. What is not in this patch is a nerf to Harrower, and Harrower was super strong in the bottom lane already. And it's kind of hard to predict how the bottom lane will change now, because of the Golden Protector change. This might throw things around and change everything quite a bit. But I'm pretty sure that Harrower will still dominate the bottom lane, or will dominate the bottom lane even more than he did before. Like it was like most of the time when Harrower was against a Featherstone or a Rook, he was losing the first few levels, and then he came back if he survived long enough. And now it probably will be like Harrower will just be good in the first few levels and then awesome in the levels afterwards. So I don't know, a little weird. I'm pretty sure we will see a Harrower nerf in the near future, but not in this patch also yet. So yeah, we got a small inertia boots buff. I like that. Mystic Dagger got nerfed, which makes sense. It was very strong. A mini Pyro Staff buff, and the Power Conduit got nerfed, which is kind of a weird move to me, because nerfing the Power Conduit without nerfing the Grimoire, which is way stronger than the Power Conduit already when it comes to magic damage, is a bit weird. I imagine the idea behind this is to make the Diadem a little bit more viable, because Power Conduit and Diadem were kind of close before this patch, but Power Conduit had an edge in most scenarios over the Diadem. And now with nerfing the Power Conduit a bit, this edge gets smaller, maybe even disappears, and Diadem kind of gets viable depending on how much mana you have, basically. So Diadem gets interesting now, but Grimoire is still the to-go item if you want to get more magic damage. So a little interesting change. I'm not really sure what the idea behind that was. We get a visual update to the cursor, which is good because it makes it easier to spot. Sounds like a good idea. And we finally got the fix for the Mystic Dagger bug with the enchantments on Gokung's Will Strike. This is basically a Gokung nerf, but probably not too big of a deal. He's still very useful. So anyway, this wraps up the patch. Thanks a lot for watching. Have fun and see ya next time.